The Ocotlan Sanctuary and Basilica is an absolute architectural marvel. It is conspicuously located on a hill in the vicinity of the city of Tlaxcala. Even from afar, this ensemble draws a lot of attention. Around it, the Tlaxcala Valley opens with its impressive mountains, such as Malinche, Popocatépetl, and Iztaccíhuatl. The atrium is made up of a wide esplanade measuring 164 feet by 230 feet, circumscribed by a wall covered by hexagonal red bricks. It consists of 26 inverted arches between flower pilasters and a 48-needle crest that crowns gracefully and communicates through 6 entrances, each with its respective grille, artistic lanterns, and half-length angels. The facade resembles an altarpiece covered by a shell. It was built between 1760 and 1790, and like all the facades of sacred art, it fulfills a didactic function, so that through symbols and figures, the people understand the mysteries of the faith it represents. Its construction is of cut brick and covered by mortar. Whitewash was applied to give it a white color. Masters in the art of plasterwork, typical of the region, were in charge of making it with the finesse and color of alfeñique. It is considered as the summit of the Churrigueresque Baroque. It has been so praised and admired that it has been featured in several art books. The twin towers that culminate at the top with a small dome with a lantern have a height of 108 feet and frame the great facade. There are a total of 40 columns in both towers, plus 24 finials. The main entrance is through a neo-Baroque cedar gate, which was donated in 1946. The vault is made of lunettes, sectioned by transverse arches that are supported by pilasters. Above the arches are the names of Sarah, Rebecca, Esther, and Judith, exemplary women of the Old Testament. The altarpiece of the Passion is located in the north arm of the transept. It is in the Churrigueresque style, and it commemorates the Passion and Death of Christ. In the central street, there is a niche with a crucifix, and in the center, La Virgen de la Piedad with the dead Christ in her arms and the empty cross, as it remains until now. The magnificent altarpiece is located in the apse and covers the walls in its entirety, forming a golden Baroque grotto of great unity of style. Cedar wood and 23-karat gold were used in its making. It consists of 28 columns with Corinthian capital and 2 cornices cross it. The ornament is formed by a garden of many leaves, flowers, and fruits. There are innumerable shells, chains of flowers, garlands and pomegranates, undulating festoons, and baskets with plant arrangements. The altarpiece produces a biblical page full of color and content, 17 full-length statues, 18 angels, and 33 small statues, faces of cherubs, angels, children floating, and young angels. The Well of Holy and Curative Waters, also known as the Well, is located about 1,300 feet from the sanctuary of Ocotlan. According to the believers, its water has healing power. The chapel dates from the beginning of the 20th century and still preserves its old arch located at the entrance. Its legend is very similar to that of the Virgin of Guadalupe of 1531, except this one takes place 10 years later, on February 1541. Coincidentally, an indigenous Tlaxcalan named Juan Diego Bernardino was looking for natural remedies to cure the people of his town of the smallpox plague that afflicted them. According to tradition, it was on February 27th when a woman dressed in a huipil and titixcle promised the man a remedy to heal his people, took him to a spring from which he obtained the miraculous water with which he was able to save his people. Inside are canvas by Isauro G. Cervantes from 1913 and murals developed by Desiderio Hernandez and Pedro Avelino, where they narrate biblical episodes related to the water of the place. The neighbor's chapel is a chapel with a very simple facade with a single tower where the precious blood of Christ is venerated. It rarely opens and it is one of the oldest buildings in the state. The Chapel of the Lord of the Neighbor dates back to the 19th century. The complete story is found in the description. The Cathedral of Tlaxcala, dedicated to Our Lady of the Assumption, was known as the Temple of San Francisco de Asís. However, when the diocese began to rise, it was named a cathedral. It was built between the years 1530 and 1536, according to Diego Muñoz Camargo. The temple has a single nave with a gabled wooden roof, adorned by a Mudejar-style wooden coffer ceiling, one of the last of its kind that still remain in the American continent. The dome of the temple is octagonal in shape and with a convent as part of its grounds. It has an open chapel and another attached to the temple. The bell tower is separated from the architectural complex. It was one of the first Catholic temples built in America. On July 27, 2021, the cathedral was named a World Heritage Site by UNESCO as an extension of the first monasteries of the 16th century on the slopes of Popocatépetl. The Tower of the Convent, another one of the atypical elements that Tlaxcala has. The tower is a strong masonry structure of irregular stones, of great simplicity and devoid of ornamental elements. With a height of 95 feet, in addition to 21 feet from the dome with its lantern. It is totally separated from the church-convent complex, except for the arches and the passageway. The Stairs of the Heroes is a 250-step viewpoint built in honor of the national heroes of the Mexican independence and revolution. It is located on Mariano Sanchez Boulevard and Vicente Guerrero Avenue. Here are different busts of Miguel Hidalgo y Costilla, José María Morelos y Pavón, Ignacio Allende, Josefa Ortiz de Domínguez, among others. At the top there is a statue dedicated to Xicotencatl. The tradition of placing padlocks by couples has continued on the railings of the viewpoint. Padlocks that have the couple's names or some other message written on them. It seems that this tradition was taken from the Bridge of the Arts in Paris. Here in Mexico, I have seen them in Puebla, Querétaro, and Tlaxcala. If you know of other places where the tradition is followed, please leave it in the comments and we will track them down. The Tlaxcala bull ring is named Jorge el Ranchero Aguilar in honor of the greatness of this bullfighter originally from this land. This enclosure was built in the 18th century and some events still take place here. Due to its inauguration date, it is considered the oldest in the American continent. It has a capacity for 2,500 people, and this piece of architecture is one of the most important works in the entire capital. And this is how we say goodbye to Tlaxcala, with the point of view of the bull looking for the exit. See you soon, beautiful Tlaxcala.